What's going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be looking at probably one of the more popular decks to come out of the Pokemon TCG World Championships, a deck that was really under the radar heading in, and then afterwards I think has become a deck a lot of people are really liking to play for their League Cups, and that is toward Reklev's top 4 turbo ability-based Reshiram and Charizard-GX deck. Green's Reshiram and Charizard, of course, has been a very popular deck since this format began, but Ability-Zard kind of flew under the radar, I think, for most people, and then Limitless TCG, of course, played it at the World Championships, where Tord ended up finishing in the top 4, and yeah, we're going to just go over this deck. I love playing this deck so much. It's so fast, pretty consistent, and it can hit so hard so quickly. So let's go ahead, without further ado, and jump into it, and start off by looking at Reshiram and Charizard-GX itself. The powerhouse, I would say, of the format. 270 HP basic Pokemon with Outrage, Flare Strike, and Double Blaze. 3 very, very good attacks. Of course, Outrage 30 damage plus. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Then we have Flare Strike, 230 damage. This Pokemon can't use Flare Strike during your next turn. And Double Blaze GX, 200 base damage if this Pokemon has at least 3 extra Fire Energies attached to it in addition to this attack's cost. This attack does 100 more damage, and this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So really kind of the idea behind this deck, at least against other tag team decks, is going to be trying to get a turn 2 300 damage Double Blaze GX knockout, and then on turn 2 be able to win the game, on turn 3 take another a tag team GX knockout with either the Turtonator here with Explosive Jet. Discard any amount of Fire Energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage for each card you discarded in this way. Or with the Victini Prism Star with that Infinity attack. This attack does 20 damage for each basic energy card in your discard pile. Then shuffle those cards back into your deck. And of course, we are playing 18 Fire Energies, so many energies, and that's because we really want to be able to do a bunch of damage with Infinity, but it's because we also need to use Ninetales 9 Temptations ability a lot. Like, we need to use this ability, you know, turn 2 and turn 3 to close out the game a lot of the time. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard 2 Fire Energy cards from your hand. If you do, switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So we're not going to be playing custom catchers in this list. We've got the Ninetales for that. We also got one copy of Heatran-GX with the Burning Road ability. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to become your active Pokemon, you may move any number of Fire Energy from your other Pokemon to it. And then Hot Burn GX. For just 1 Fire Energy, this attack does 50 damage times the amount of Fire Energy attached to this Pokemon. So we really just have no damage cap, it feels like, for a lot of this deck. Or we do have a damage cap, but it's extremely high. Like, we're going to be able to knock out anything we could come up against with Hot Burn GX. We're going to be able to knock out anything with Double Blaze, and we can do the same thing with Turtonator. And of course, Victini as well. And how are we, turboing through our deck? We're going to be using things like Dedenne-GX with that Dedenne change ability. You guys know and love it. And then, of course, Jirachi with Stellar Wish to hit key pieces. Now, as we expand the deck list, it's not huge. There's not a lot going on here, just a lot of consistency stuff. The 3 Acro Bikes, the 4 Cherish Balls, of course, very powerful card. And then 4 Welder, our only supporter in the entire deck, are these 4 copies of Welder. Attach up to 2 Fire Energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon if you do draw 3 cards. So it's another way to draw cards, but also helps us get there really quick. So ideally on turn 1, we're going to attach for turn and Welder to this Reshiram and Charizard, and then on turn 2, we'll attach for turn, Welder again, and then use something like 9 Temptations if we have to take a Tag Team GX knockout. 2 copies of Switch and 2 copies of Escape Board to give us the mobility we might need, especially useful, of course, with Jirachi. We've got the 1 Pal Pad because, let's be honest, we've only got 4 supporters, so after we've used them, being able to Pal Pad a couple back is pretty nice. 3 copies of Pokemon Communication so we can get this Ninetales line set up, and 3 copies of Super Scoop Up. Now, this is a card I've seen a lot of people taking out of this deck whenever they, are wanting to play it for League Cups, which I think is fine. In a more defined meta, if you're not expecting to play against any Malamars, Super Scoop Up seems less necessary in this deck, and you can add more consistency cards. Like, I've seen people adding the 4th Acro Bike, I've seen them adding Pokegears. I think all those cards are good and, have a place in this deck, but if you are going into like kind of a blind meta, Super Scoop Up is really needed for this deck to have a chance against Malamar. You need to be able to pick your Pokemon up and heal the damage off of them if you want to have a shot against those Malamar decks. So Super Scoop Up definitely feels necessary for that, but outside of that, it's something I think that is fine to cut for the most part. But yes, there's the list. I think we covered everything. We got the 2 stadiums here, Giant Hearth and Heat Factory. You guys know and love them. You know what they do. So without further ado, let's hop over to the TCG Online ladder and see if we can't get a couple of wins in today's video. Starting things off, looks like we might have a mirror match here since they had Lightning, Fire, Psychic. Well, what would their Psychic type be, actually? Maybe this is Blacephalon, actually, which could be a tough matchup for us. We'll have to see how it goes, though. I think sometimes Blacephalon can struggle early turns to be able to get their B-strings going, so if we can just turn 2, take a knockout, or turn 1 if we're going second, take a knockout, they might not be able to respond by by getting into their B-strings and stuff. But it'll just depend on what we are playing against. We do lose the flip, so we'll be going second. So that's probably ideal if it's Blacephalon. That's definitely not ideal if it's the mirror match. And since he did have Psychic type, I would tend to lean towards this most likely being Blounce. He did have the Dragon type, which of course could be the Dragon type Ninetales or it could be the Turtonator. But since the Psychic type, I don't think there's really a Psychic type ability Zard could play. Maybe a copy of Mew could be in his deck. We will just have to see, though, as we do open up a little awkwardly and get a victory right away. We were going to have to start one of our 3 retreat Pokemon, but we had a Dedenne. We were probably chilling. You know what? We will take a win where a win comes to us. We'll go ahead and see if we can't find another opponent. And hopefully this opponent will want to stick around and will be able to actually play the game. But yeah, going into League Cups and stuff, this definitely feels like a really solid deck. It can be a little inconsistent at times. I tend to favor Green's Reshi-Zard because you have so much more control of the game when you're playing as Green's Reshi-Zard, because you can just plan your game out with the Green's explorations, figure out what path you want to take. Ability Zard, you really only have one path most of the time, and if you don't start pretty well, things can be tough. Is there anyone out there playing Pokemon today? What's the deal? Are we going to find an opponent? We'll have to see. But I do definitely like this deck. I've seen people winning League Cups with it. I've also had friends who have played it 2 League Cups and things have not gone their way, unfortunately, because they had some of those consistency issues where they didn't get one of their 4 welders on the first turn and then they're not really able to do much on the second. This is a pretty solid opening, I would say, though. Not the worst. I would like to get another energy. Maybe if our opponent... I think they're playing Malamar. Yeah, it looks like they are. Ooh, and they start the Sableye. This is really a cool card to be added to the Malamar decks. A lot of Japanese players played it at Worlds. Quick Hunt. If you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Really, really solid. They are just going to grab another Inkay. So yeah, once again, this matchup can be a little tough, not going to lie. And they are just going to have to Quick Hunt, though. This matchup can definitely be tough, like I said. But it is certainly winnable, especially with the Super Scoop Ups. So we'll see if the Super Scoop Ups earn their keep in this one. I really want to Welder for 2. I want to knock this thing out this turn, I think. Go ahead and definitely get a Cherish Ball. We want to get down Heatran at some point. We did prize our second Dedenne. We'll need Ninetales in order to get around spell tags. We prized 3 Fire Energies. I guess we can just go ahead and Welder for 1. Do we want the second Reshi-Zard? I think that's fine. And then if we draw into a Communication, we can use that. We could just Heat Factory to see if we draw a couple energies. What's better, Heat Factory first or Welder for 1? I think we'll just go Heat Factory first. We could get punished here. Give me another energy. Nice, we did get there. We want to keep this energy. Could have gotten punished, but, you know, it pays off. And I really wouldn't mind taking our knockout with the Heatran. We'd have to find a switch regardless, though, so we're going to just put the energies on the active. We do get Vulpix. That's definitely ideal. Now, do we take a turn 1 knockout on this thing? That's the question. Just GX it, take the KO. They did just quick hunt. They didn't have the best start. I think we just need to go ahead and take prizes, not give them more time. Do we ever put down the second Reshi-Zard? I think not, probably. If anything, we put down the second Vulpix. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just do that. Pal Pad back the 1 Welder. Discarding the second Reshi-Zard could feel a little sketchy, but if we flip heads on our scoop-ups, we'll get to keep this other one around, and it'll be just fine. Cherish Ball for the next turn. We've got Welder. This is probably just about as ideal as it could be. And yeah, we'll just Double Blaze GX, take the knockout. Unsure about it, but that's what we're going with. And we do get our other Dedenne out of the prizes, which is nice. We did have Cherish Ball, so could have had options to get it out still. They do bump our Heat Factory right away. Erica's Hospitality going to draw them a decent amount of cards here. Here comes the Giratina, just straight to the bench, no Distortion Door shenanigans. And we'll have to see what else they're going to do. We have to keep in mind, ooh, I guess we maybe should have kept our second Reshiram around, because now we could get really punished by GG End, just discarding our Charizard. But if that's the case, we have Turtonator, I guess, which can knock out the tag team. We also have, what's it called, that can potentially knock it out? The Victini. Oh, looks like we're just going to see another quick hunt here. I really would like to find a switch, I think. Oh, he's going to go for the Curse Dropped, actually. 3 damage counters onto the active. So that's not ideal for sure. Let's go ahead and do this, thin the deck out a little bit. And there are definitely weird situations here where it's like, oh, I wish I could Dedenne. The Curse Drop does not let us knock him out with Outrage, but it would not let us knock out an Inkay. So we really want to get into a Ninetales here. Do we ever play the Giant Hearth? Are we going to Dedenne still potentially? I think so. We might still potentially Dedenne. Okay. We can Super Scoop Up Heads this into Steaming Stomp. Seems like not the best use of our Super Scoop Up. But at the same time, I really don't want to discard all these extra fires. I guess it's not the worst thing. We might as well go for it now, because we're going to Dedenne regardless, I think. We flip double tails. That is unfortunate. We'll just go ahead and Dedenne change. See if we can get into a Ninetales, maybe. I should have Giant Hearthed first. That was a mistake. No Jirachis this game. Who needs them? Oh, man. Definitely getting a little sketchy. I should have attached the active so we could just Flare Strike. Maybe that would have been better than trying to go for the... we should have gotten a Heads or Ninetales. Like, it was so likely to get either of those things. We didn't get... We got 2 Communication in the deck, plus 2 Ninetales. Just weren't quite able to get there. That is definitely unfortunate. Here comes the Cynthia. So we can still Flare Strike next turn. If he is able to get a Fighting Energy, he could knock us out with Calamitous Slash. Oh no, let's see if he gets the Garchomp here. If he got the Garchomp, we might be able to get the knockout with Turtonator, but we would need to draw into Welder on the top. Looks like we'll probably just see a Shadow Impact, most likely. Our bench has gotten pretty clogged up, though. No space for Turtonator to start powering it up. No space for Jirachi. He's just going to go for another Quick Hunt. Or a Quick Hunt, I should say. He went for Curse Drop last turn. Going to get that one card. Probably like a Lily or an Erica's or something like that. There's a Super Scoop Up. Now, do we go for the Scoop Up? It could be really good. I think we can do it next turn. Because he's not going to Tina Chomp us next turn. Almost certainly. Let's just attach active and go for the Outrage. I don't want to discard any other energies, I don't think, yet. I also don't know if I prized any Welders. That would be a good thing to know for sure. So let's see what our opponent's able to do now. There's an energy for turn. And they did get a Lily off of the Quick Hunt almost certainly. We're really going to need this third Scoop Up to be heads, most likely. Let's see if they're able to get down a Spell Tag. There it is. It's like I spoke it into existence. He's going to put it on Malamar. Double Malamar. Does he have the third one to put on Tina? That's the only way this makes sense, I think. Otherwise, we just don't have to hit into Spell Tag. That's definitely interesting. Could he be going for... He's going to go ahead and attach to Mew. Oh, maybe he whiffed the retreat. Oh, he did whiff the retreat. Okay. So we could Nine Temptations something. I honestly think I'm just going to... We're going to evolve. We're going to attach. And I don't think we're going to Nine Temptations anything. I think we'll just Outrage. Save the Nine Temptations to try to get around a Spell Tag next turn. I also didn't use Giant Hearth. Don't think there's anything we want to discard. I guess we could have thinned out the Giant Hearth, but I still want to bump up potential Viridian from them. Or they could play like Power Plant. Some of the Malamar lists these days are playing Power Plant. And we're at 3 prizes left. They still have 4. Let's see where the Custom Catcher goes. Probably after... Ooh, the Ninetales. Okay. Gonna take that down. Which I think is reasonable, for sure. Should we ever be scared at this point of a Tina Chomp coming in? Probably. There goes the Shadow Impact. So do we go for the Scoop Up this turn to try to heal this? They did hit this, which means if we had our other Ninetales, we could... if we had our other Ninetales, we could knock it out with the Ninetales, but that's probably not ideal. Maybe we should have just sent this up. Attached, benched and attached. That's pretty good. That probably would have been good. Now, now we can Tina Chomp this. We can still dig for what we might need next turn, though. I guess he could Mimikyu our Reshi-Zard if we Flare Strike. Well, he would not quite knock us out, so we're just going to go with it. We're going to Flare Strike. If he's got the Mimikyu, he'll do 230 to us. He won't quite knock us out. I need to remove this song from this playlist because I really don't like it. And it came up the other day during one of my videos. Just like the nice instrumental stuff, you know? I guess we could have thinned... Oh, did we just take one? We just took one of these off the prizes, right? So we couldn't have thinned a Jirachi out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 14 energies in play. I don't know how many are left in the deck. I know we prized a couple. Alright, here comes the Tina Chomp. So let's see if that is the route they're going. There's the Fighting Energy. I should have taken the knockout with the Heatran. That is definitely a mistake. Now we need to find a Welder. But we have pretty good odds to do that and just be able to win the game by knocking out the Teenachomp, so maybe it's better that we, like, kind of baited this out. Ooh, reset stamp. That's not good. There's Welder Giant Hearth, though. The perfect 2 cards to draw. Oh, man, we got so lucky just then. We had a lot of things we could have drawn. Communication plus Pokemon finds us to Dedenne to dig, but we literally, if he Teenachomp knocks us out, we literally just win the game. Because we just have to Giant Hearth, whatever our top deck is, Welder, and that's game. That is game. Calamitous Slash. He might think he's in a good position, but unfortunately, that is not the case, because we're going to send up this Turtonator. Oh man, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, guys. It's how life goes. Giant Hearth away, a Welder. Get 2 energies, and then Explosive Jets for the win. Oh, feels bad, but you know what? Sometimes, like I said, it's better to be lucky than good. 1 more energy, because why not? And Explosive Jet, discarding all of these energies to do 350 damage for the win. And that's why Turtonator is so powerful, just letting you take these tag team knockouts seemingly out of nowhere. We only had 4 energy in play, and then with Welder and our attachments, we were able to do so much damage. So there we go. That is our first game down, or I guess technically our second game, since the first one our opponent conceded right away for some reason. I guess maybe just a disconnect. But yeah, showed off how the deck was functioned pretty well. We did flip Double Tails on Super Scoop Up. Ended up not mattering. I should have not taken the knockout there with the Charizard I did take the knockout with. I should have taken the knockout that turn with the Heatran. So we are playing against Gardevoir. It looks like they're going to let us go first, because they, on their first turn, just want to Secret Spring or whatever it's called. Geomancy, I guess. I think it's Geomancy, right? They find a basic, but we do not. So there is the Heatran. That can let us take a knockout on a Guardian on turn 2, potentially. So we're going to definitely go that route. I think we just Welder before we play anything else. And go for that Hot Burn on turn 2. I think we don't want to discard this other Welder, though. Ooh. I really kind of want to keep the Giant Hearts around. Ninetales, I guess, is less important. We do only need 1. I don't know how many are in the deck, though. Might feel a little sketchy. We need the Giant Hearth for next turn to guarantee that we can Hot Burn for the knockout as well. This isn't in threat of being knocked out, and he could, like, Custom Catcher try to stick the Victini, so we're just not going to bench it right now. We're just going to hit pass onto our opponent's turn. And we're set up to Hot Burn GX for the knockout next turn, which is good. They get the Choice Helmet, which means I think that doesn't actually affect the math at all. There is 3 Fire Energies off the Energy Spinner. Let's see, do they have a Cherish Ball or a Green's Exploration? There's the Green, so that'll get them a Cherish Ball. I think Victini is something you really want to keep kind of like as a surprise for the end of the game. Like throw it down, Welder to it, and then go for the Infinity. But I don't think that's an option we're going to have right now. So here comes the Cherish Ball, because I think we're just going to have to bench it, because we're most likely going to be using Dedenne this turn. Here comes a Pokegear. Gets another green, so that's definitely good. And we'll see if they attach the Choice Helmets. No reason really not to. Throw that down, and Fairy Song. Double energy right there. Here we go. On to our turn. We get the Giant Hearth. We'll use it and just discard the Super Scoop Up. And then we'll Welder for 2. There's the Heat. Oh my goodness. This is probably our best possible hand. So we do need this other energy to do 300. And I think we're just going to get Dedenne and use it. No reason to... We want to leave a bench spot open, potentially. That's a lot of fire energies, but we do get a welder, which is the key there. 270 damage. And if they don't knock us out, we actually can just win this turn. This next turn. Because all we have to do is retreat, welder, attach, and then Explosive Jet will do 300 damage to knock out this Gardevoir Sylveon. So they have to GX us here, which is probably not what they want to be doing, but if they do, I will, take it. They really want to save their GX to be able to put us to 0-card hand and stamp us and power plant us, but they do get the stamp. We are down 2 Welder. We do get the Heat Factory, though. That's really solid. Here comes the greens. We'll probably see this get a power plant, but luckily for us, we did draw the Heat Factory. And we will just be able to push Jirachi. Cherish Ball power plant. And I feel like we are going to definitely see the Fairy Song. Or sorry, the Magical Miracle GX. And, yep, that's what they have to do. Take the knockout. Definitely their best move. So... I don't think we can win this turn, actually. We would need 13 Fire Energies discarded to knock it out with Victini, which seems not as likely. We do get the Heat Factory off the stamp, like we said. There's a Super Scoop Up, so we could Dedenne off the Super Scoop Up. Let's see what we... I think we go for it, right? Let's Acro Bike first. There's a Pal Pad, that's really good. A Escape Board would be nice, but I think Pal Pad's definitely more important here. Super Scoop Up. Tails, we are not lucky on the Scoop Ups today. It's just double Pal Pad. And we want to see either a Cherish Ball or a Welder here. There's a Cherish Ball. That's probably better than the Welder. Yeah, I think we just, never care about Ninetales, really. Is the second Jirachi even worth it? Probably not. We'll keep it open for a Ninetales, potentially, I think. Because we could hit this turn. Yeah, we're just going to go to Dedenne. Not worry about second Jirachi. Leave the spot open, potentially. Ooh, that is not the best hand. But not terrible. We're just going to attach and click done. We do have communication for Dedenne next turn, so long as they don't power plant us again. Here comes the Pokegears. There's a Coach Trainer, one of their better supporters. And then I think what we can do next turn, maybe we should have just attached to Victini. Yeah, we probably... Well, no, we need to keep the Vulpix in hand for communication. Yeah, I think attaching to Victini was probably the move there. We do have 4 Welders in deck, though, so let's hope that they don't get the power plants. We maybe should have kept the other Jirachi so we could push another Jirachi, assuming this would likely get knocked out. Reset Stamp is definitely a very good card, and it's paying off for our opponent here. Yeah, they're just going to go for the Kaleidostorm. No Stadium, though, so that's really good for us. So, I think we just push Victini. Oh, we top deck Ninetales, that's good, so we can go Communication for Dedenne. 4 Welders in the deck. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We can definitely get there this turn. We're going to go for it. We can definitely get to the infinity this turn. Okay, there. It's going to depend on what we draw off of this. We could scoop up this Fire Energy. Okay, we're chilling. We're chilling. We're going to Heat Factory. We need Giant Hearth. We got the Giant Hearth. And a Fire Energy to discard with the Giant Hearth. And that is going to get us the win right there. That's exactly what we needed to draw. There we go. Double energy. We have the Welder in hand. And Infinity is going to be able to get the knockout for us. Give them the well played. Definitely a well played game on our opponent's part. But sometimes there's just too much gas in the deck, and Infinity comes in and takes the knockout. I like that we've gotten to utilize all of our attackers in this video. We used Reshiram Charizard, Turtonator, we've used Victini, and also the Heatran-GX all have, you know, put in their fair share of work. We've got a couple game win streak going. We'll go ahead and grab one more. We've got a little time. That game wasn't too long. And we'll see if we can't get another win with the deck. We do get some coins. We'll take it. Might be cracking some Unified Minds packs later on. And we'll see if we can't get another win for the deck. This is definitely a deck I've considered playing for League Cups and stuff myself. I'm just, like I said at the beginning, a little partial to Reshi-Zard. I did well with it, of course, in the Open. I got second at a League Cup with it this weekend. I just like that you have so much more control of the outcome of your game, I feel like. Ability-Zard, while it is super gas and you can just fly through your deck and blow stuff up so quickly, it has those consistency issues sometimes. I literally watched a game this weekend where I was watching an Ability-Zard player go turn 1, Welder attached to Charizard. He was playing against Green-Zard. His opponent attaches the Volcanion and Flare Starters a bunch of energies onto the benched Charizard. Then on turn 2, the Ability-Zard player Welders, attaches 9 Temptations, brings up that Charizard, knocks it out. What is this hand? Oh my goodness. And then on turn 3, they were able to pull off the 9 Temptations to bring up a second Reshiram Charizard, switch into the Turtonator, Welder attached to the Turtonator, and just blow it up for the game. It was really crazy, and we might just be super scooping up our way out of this game, honestly. I didn't see our opponent's typings. Jirachi makes me think something like Malamar, potentially. Shrine of Punishments also sounds something like Malamar. There's Viridian coming down, and there's a Giratina going down. So we actually don't just lose right away, which is nice. Top decking a Cherish Ball or a Reshiram Charizard or a Heatran-GX, those are all good things for us here. Probably Heatran's our best top deck because that can knock out Jirachi, whereas Reshiram Charizard can't. They got no Malamar, or no Inkay though, at least. We're gonna hit him with the pass. We'll stick around for another couple turns. But like I said, this is looking a little sketchy, guys. Looking a little sketchy. Here comes a Stellar Wish. Gonna get a Mysterious Treasure. Here comes an Escape Board. And another Jirachi. They're gonna probably play the treasure and then go into the other Jirachi and use Stellar Wish. Are they not gonna use the... Okay, maybe they want to see what they get off the Stellar Wish before they decide what to get with the treasure. They did get a treasure, right? I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. Yep, there's the treasure. I also believe they haven't used Viridian. So they could have done... There's a couple things they could have done to thin the deck a little more to try to hit a supporter. They did draw Cynthia anyway. So their bench is going to be looking a little awkward, I think. They have this Mew down. They have a second Jirachi, which isn't always ideal. They do get the second Inkay there. There's a Viridian, gonna get another energy. And they flip tails, stay asleep. Here we go! Reshiram and Charizard, we'll take it. We will take it. So we are definitely still very much in this game. We just need one of these 3 things to be heads. We'll just go ahead and attach. I think that's fine. And use Data Change. discarding all our Super Scoop Ups, which I know we've talked about how important Super Scoop Up is for this matchup, and just haven't utilized it at all. I guess we could have P-Commed in the Jirachi to go get a Ninetales. But we're just going to go this route for now. We could still get, or excuse me, the Vulpix. Could still draw one here. There's a Welder. Can't discard that. We would have to get rid of our second Ninetales if we did a change, which means we never get to use Nine Temptations. So we just Outrage, Double Blaze, do we take the prize? I feel like we gotta take the prize. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I think we just take the prize. I think that's right. We can always use Turtonator to knock out one of the GXs that could play. And we're not in danger of having this knocked out at this time. He could GG end it, but that would be about it. Which I didn't look at his types to even see if he's playing a dragon type. Here comes a Cynthia. We'll see if they have anything else to play before the Cynthia. Here comes a Treasure. Gets rid of the Viridian, so they're not going to bump our Giant Hearth, which I really want that Giant Hearth to stay in play, like, really badly. Spell Tag onto the Tina, and a Cynthia. So we're going to have to hit into the Spell Tag this turn. Definitely not ideal, but it's how it goes sometimes. So hopefully we can top deck, like, Communication. I think would probably be our best top deck to put back the Ninetales. And go get Vulpix, like a 2-for-1. Yep, here comes the Giratina. We are out of Super Scoop Ups, unfortunately. Let's see the Communication top deck. Is a Fire Energy. So let's Hearth the Jirachi. Welder there. There's Communication. That's what we wanted to see for sure. Let's just get Vulpix and lets us keep the Ninetales in the deck. We're just going for an Outrage this turn. Unfortunately, we will lose this Reshiram Charizard. Well, now I guess we do have access to Outraging with this benched one, but does it really matter? I think it really doesn't. I guess we could have gotten a Heatran there and tried to switch into Heatran. That might have been really good, honestly. I feel like we just go for the Outrage at this point, though. Maybe he'll mess up and not put a Spell Tag tick here. He does need to put one here. Putting one here and putting 3 here is so good for him, though, because now this can get knocked out by Tina Chomp. Oh, it looks like he's going to load up the Vulpix. So maybe he's not playing Tina Chomp. That Spell Tag placement definitely makes me think so. He could Esper. He would have only put 2 on this, though, I think, if he wanted to, like, Esper knock this out. I guess he could Mew knock this out this turn, which would be really solid for my opponent. Let's see what this Communication puts back. It is a Jirachi. Let's see what it gets. It is a Malamar. Malamar goes up. Now he can triple Psychic Recharge. Doesn't even need to attach for turn. Comes the Stellar Wish after a Lily for 3. Need some solid cards here. Spell Tag would probably be ideal. And of course, they get Spell Tag. I guess they're just adding it up. Oh man, and the Reset Stamp. Okay. We get Welder. We have Heat Factory. Okay. This is fine. We're still okay. We're still okay. Certainly not the most ideal, but we're not terrible. Not in any danger just yet. Without super scoop ups, having to get rid of them on the first turn, it definitely makes things more difficult. And he will be taking the knockout here with Shadow Impact. I think I'd really like to find the Heatran. Not this turn necessarily, but definitely by next turn. So I think we can just go Flare Strike into this. If he plays Mimikyu, we lose the game though. So I think we probably need a Ninetales. Ninetales gust this up and knock it out with Outrage is good. Okay, there's the second energy for us to Welder. We'll just thin one out though. We've got several on the deck still. I guess we could have saved that to try to use the Ninetales. I really want to Welder to something that's not this Reshi-Zard though. Okay, there's the Heatran. It's definitely good. Oh, definitely keep Vulpix. So here comes Ninetales. So we can't draw our other energies. So yeah, so we can still just move an energy to it. 40 on there. Oh. Retreat, move just the one, and then go for Steaming Stomp, taking the KO. And let's see where their spell tag damage goes. They could load up the Ninetales, try to knock this out, and then next turn spell tag. After like 2 Distortion Door pings, they can knock out Ninetales and then knock out Heatran for game. That might be the route they're thinking. So they can go hit this for 130, spell tag. Then I can't hit into the spell tag. No, I can. I can hit into the spell tag. This seems tough, guys. It seems tough, I'm not gonna lie. Here comes a Shrine. We knew they played Shrine. We saw it on turn 1, I think. So that's probably their last stadium. So if we get our last Giant Hearth, it should stick. But we like need to find the Giant Hearth. Oh, here comes a Reset Stamp. 2 Reset Stamps in Malamar. That's definitely not something you always see. We did get switched though, which is good. We can switch into Jirachi, of course. So hopefully no spell tag. I think the spell tag is what we want to avoid here. We're going to just ping Dedenne and Ninetales. Man, 2 Reset Stamp. That definitely is surprising to me. So I'm thinking this is definitely not Tina Chomp then, if they fit that. Do they play Acro Bike? Have we seen Acro Bike? They might not play Acro Bike. You got to figure out sometimes where your opponent made cuts from like the conventional lists. Oh, did they go on to Mew once? Are they going to go for the... I'm totally fine if they want to go for Psy Power this turn. Oh, yeah, that's like totally fine with me. I think they should not have done this. Now we can knock this out. They put their 4 here. Send up the Giratina. I guess it means that they're relying on being able to get their last spell tag on their last attacker. So no Ninetales for us this game. Well, I guess we can't attack with this now, though. But we can Outrage. Oh, we actually can't Outrage. For a knockout, at least. Start with a Stellar Wish. There is a Welder. It's probably just about exactly what we needed. Hopefully we can find Stadium. We can't Dedenne. Oh, our last Stadium's prized. We actually can't Dedenne. Well, we have Pal Pads in the deck. Oh, we can never Victini. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, no. So these energies in play are our energies to take our last 3 prizes. Okay. So take this. Okay. Okay. That's where we're at. We just gotta go for the Flare Strike. If they have the Mimikyu, they win. I think this one's looking bad for us regardless. Definitely not ideal. I'm gonna put the spell tags onto the Heatran. If they have Esper as well, that's a win condition for them. They don't have any energies in the discard, though. So there's not enough damage on this to Esper knock it out. Oh, now there is after the... Or no, not quite after the... Well, it would be enough after Shrine coming back in, so that works out. Same thing with Dedenne. Man, he's got so many ways to win the game. He would need to discard 1 more energy and have another energy in hand. There is a chance he doesn't find his last spell tag, which is what we're kind of hoping for at this point. What we gotta hope for. Actually, no, because if he just hits us for 130... If he hits us for 130, we can't retreat and attack with this, because he'll just knock it out with another Giratina. We can't... And we don't have energy to retreat and attack with Victini, because we messed up. And he does have just the Mimikyu, though. So, as long as he has 1 more energy, he'll just win the game here. Here's the Psychic Recharge. And attach return. There we go. We'll give them the well played. Definitely a well played game on their part. It's a tough matchup, like I said. Getting rid of the super scoop ups early hurts. You really need to be able to... Those are just really important for the Malamar matchup in general. So there you go, guys. That is the Ability Reshi-Zard deck. Hopefully that was a pretty good showing of it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like down below. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't so you can get notified anytime I post new videos. Also, check out my Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I know I haven't been streaming on Twitch, but I want to get back into it. Once I kind of get back into the flow of YouTube things, I'll be back to Twitch as well. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate your time. Have a good day, and until next time, guys, take care.